96.3 FM. Nature's Way.
I am the God that healeth thee. I am the Lord, your healer. And I sent my word, and I healed your disease. I am the Lord, your healer. This is his word. I am the God that healeth thee. I am the Lord, your healer. And I sent my word, and I healed your disease. I am the Lord, your healer. You sent your word, and you healed my disease. You are the Lord, my healer. Yes, you are.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Nature's Way here on Waves 96.3 FM. I am Debbie, your host, and I am so happy to be with you this evening. It's a wonderful Sunday evening, and I am happy to be here with you. I hope you have been having a good day, and maybe some of you have had your red rice and so on already, but welcome, welcome, and I trust that um, as we go through this program this evening, that or the information that we have to share with you will be useful to you, and I trust that we'll all enjoy this evening's program. We are still looking at the reproductive system in women, and we are going to continue with that discussion. I invite you to bow your heads with me while I pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, thank you for your mercy and your grace towards us, dear Lord. I pray that you will be with us, and I pray that the information that is prepared this evening will be useful to someone. Bless your people and touch everything in studio so that it may work to its best, so that information may go forth. Be with your listeners and viewers. For Christ's sake, I pray and say thanks. Amen. Amen. Just to remind you that the information, the materials contained in this presentation is informative in nature and is not intended to serve as diagnosis, treatment, prevention, or cure of any specific health condition of our listeners or viewers. We give no guarantee of, nor assume any liability for any outcome of the information, for use of this information. This information, listeners, viewers, is general information. So you can get this information and you can, test it. All right. I am not a medical practitioner, but my task is to share the information after research and testimonials. And that is what we do at Nature's Way. We share simply because we care. All right. So, 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 31 says, whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. This is our theme text here on Nature's Way. And it is important because we want to ensure that whatever it is we do, we are glorifying God. Whatever we wear, whatever we eat, whatever we drink, anything at all, it is a means of glorifying God. And just to say that if it is not glorifying God, we need to stop doing it. All right. Okay. Just let me say good evening to our listeners on the radio and good evening to our viewers on YouTube. Good evening, Terry. I see you. Happy that you have joined, and I trust that the information will be useful. If not for you, you can share it with others. All right. Just remember, listeners, viewers, that once you go on, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that each time we are on, you are notified and you won't miss a beat. Okay? All right. So we're looking at reproductive in women. We looked at reproductive men last week and we started looking at reproductive for women. Now, we looked at PMS, that dreaded moment. And we looked at breast enlargement, abnormally small breasts, cervical dysplasia, and breast cyst. Now, these are some of the topics that we looked at: breast inflammation as well, breast discomfort. And we are looking at the menstrual disorders this evening. So you have a few of them, and we're going to be looking at menstrual disorder, and we're going to be looking at some natural remedies. We're looking at some helps, that some things that you can do to treat with the situation. All right, and we're going to be looking at couple other topics. Now we have 2 hours to spend with you. I have 2 hours to spend with you. Hope you have the time to spend with me. I'd be grateful. And please share your comments, your questions, and if there is anything that you want to add, go right ahead and add the information on the live chat. All right. Thank you. All right. So menstrual disorders is what we're looking at. And or one word of encouragement I want to share with you this evening is the angels of God guard us at every moment. Have we not reason to be thankful for the protection we are given all through the day? Let us thank God for his blessings. God has been protecting us. God has been guiding us. God has been taking care of us. And we should give him thanks in everything. In everything, we are to give him thanks, even for the trials that come. How would we know we are able to overcome? Not in our own strength, but in God's strength. God, asking God to help us. All right? So let us remember that God is protecting us right through the day. So let us thank him for his blessings. All right, so menstrual disorders, and some of the symptoms for menstrual disorders include depression and tension and melancholia. Mean you're sad, melancholy, you are sad, breast tenderness, cramps, fainting, water retention, rapid heartbeat, and backache may also occur. You may also have backache for a menstrual disorder. Now, the first menstruation is also called menarche. So women whose general health and resistance are good are less likely to have menstrual problems. An irregular cycle often indicates the general state of a woman's health. Now, it is usually the result of nutritional deficiencies or auto intoxication caused by constipation or organic malfunction, drugs, vitamin or minerals deficiency, and or chemicals, and also stress. All right? So these are some of the causes of menstrual disorders. Now, you have on menstrual disorders, there are some other some other terms, and I'm going to be listing them for you and tell you what they are. One of the term is amenorrhea. So it is amenorrhea. Like you would say diarrhea, amenorrhea. All right. So amenorrhea is the absence or suppression of menstruation. So that is amenorrhea. The absence or suppression of menstruation. And there's another one is dysmenorrhea and dysmenorrhea, right? So painful, this is painful or difficult menstruation. And a lot of persons will tell you that they suffer from this, that they have this issue, right? So painful or difficult menstruation. Another one is metro re, regari, re, sorry, metrohagia or metrohagia. All right. So this is bleeding between periods. So this is when you have bleeding between your cycle. So you may have spotting and all of that. All right. And another one is oligom- oligomenorrhea. So that is oligomenorrhea. Now, this one is infrequent or scanty menstruation, and a lot of persons who have hormone problems um, has this condition. So, periods tend to stop in athletes and in women who drop below 20% body fat. There are two types of dysmenorrhea, which is painful menstruation. One is primary and one is secondary. So for the primary, it usually does not occur until several years after menstruation begins. Now, the pain begins a few hours before or at the onset of bleeding. This may last from a few hours to 1 to 2 days, and it is generally worst on the first day. At first, there is a scanty flow which increases as the pain subsides. So a lot of persons will be in a lot of pain, but there is no flow or minimal flow. And for the secondary dysmenorrhea, this may start 2 to 3 days before the onset of your period. This with pain in the abdomen, small or of the of back and on down to your legs. So you may feel the pain going down in your legs. It is a more constant pain, but it includes sharp cramps and continues throughout the period. Now, this type is often linked to a pelvic disorder. You may have inflammation or uterine malposition or endometriosis or some kind of tumor, etc. All right, fibroids and all of that. So this may be as a result of those other conditions. Now, this needs to be eliminated in order to lessen or remove the pain. All right, so you the pelvic disorders, what you need to do is ensure that you do the process of elimination. So if you are not treating with any of these other problems or conditions, then you can do the process of elimination. So you're saying, well, I don't have any inflammation, I don't have a uterine malposition, I don't have endometriosis, or I don't have any tumor. So you eliminate those. So then you know definitely is this menorrhea that you are suffering from. Now, because toxic shock occurs most frequently during the menstrual period, the women who uses tampons should change them every 3 to 4 hours during the day. and use pads during the night. But it is far better for health not to use tampons at all. All right? You have some persons who only use tampons, but it is not recommended that you keep it in for more than 4 hours. You have to change it within that time. And at nights, going to bed, it is recommended that preferably that you use pads instead. All right. Okay. So um, with this condition, the hormone imbalance is usually involved. All right. So a lot of menstrual disorders, the next thing you check for is a hormone imbalance. And most times, well, this is present. All right. And there are some natural remedies that you can use. And the diet is one of them. And as I always say, listeners, viewers, that diet plays a very important part in health. All right. And whatever it is, whatever conditions we are going through, we must make sure that our diet is on par. We need to ensure that we get in our grains and our nuts and our leafy greens. These are very important because these give our bodies the nourishment, the vitamins, minerals that it needs to function at its best. And when we put the things that don't give us these things, or they have a little in it, or it is secondary, and you clog your system with these things, then you have additional problems. All right. Um, The diet should contain an adequate but not excessive amount of high quality protein. It it preferably should come from non-meat sources. All right? So you don't want the secondary protein. You want to eat those grains and those plant-based foods that gives the protein, clean protein. So it's preferably that you don't get this from meat sources. Eat complex carbohydrates, which are whole grains, to avoid blood sugar drops. Now, this is important because low blood sugar is common during menstruation. All right. And these things help to avoid your blood sugar from dropping. All right. Avoid overeating. This encourages abdominal congestion. Do not overeat on anything at all, even if it is good for you. All right? Please do everything in moderation. It is now 4:17. Time is running ahead, and you are tuned into Nature's Way here on Waves 96.3 FM. I am Debbie, your host, and if you're just joining us, welcome. And I trust that you will stay with us and so that you can get some vital information if you don't treat with any of these things, menstrual disorders or any hormonal imbalance, you can share it with a friend. All right. So we are encouraged not to overeat because this causes abdominal congestion. And we are also encouraged not to overeat on anything at all, even if it is something that you love, love, love. Remember, do things in moderation. And even if the thing is good for you, if it is healthy, it doesn't mean that you are to go overboard with it, all right, or overeat. Remember, because we don't want to clog up our system or have any abdominal congestion. All right. Okay. So make sure you eat fresh, raw beets, beet juice, or beet powder is also very helpful in regulating all menstrual problems. Include B complex, especially B12 and B6, along with vitamins C and vitamin E. You can take Brewer's yeast and kelp and essential fatty acids. Now, B vitamins, especially B6 and folic acid, help reduce some of the tensions associated with menstruation. B12 helps restore normal menstrual cycles. So you need to get in your B12 and your B6 along with your vitamins, vitamins C and vitamin E, especially. And you can take brewer, brewer's yeast. I have a little problem with that word, brewer's yeast, and kelp, and also your essential fatty acids. And the B vitamins are especially good, B6 and folic acid. All right, and these will help to reduce some of the tensions that is associated with menstruation. And some of the tensions include the fact that women, we know when that time is approaching, some of us get miserable and tense and all of that. And that contributes to the pain that we feel. And then, because remember, as I said earlier, that some of the causes also may be chemicals and stress. And chemicals meaning like chemicals imbalance, because now you're getting worried and you're getting, so this cause these things to react in your bodies, and then you come down with these terrible pain and frustration and all of it. All right, so it is best and it is recommended that, and when that time is approaching, you try to be as stress free as possible. Even on the job, try to eliminate the stress. Don't um don't get worked up so easily over stuff. Try to keep calm and be in a happy mood and so on. So this is important as well. All right, health is very important, and in order for our bodies to work properly, we have to eliminate stress. We don't want to add stress to our system, because our system now get all topsy-turvy, and you get headaches, and you are, some persons sweat a lot because of nerves, they are nervous, and all of these things. So these things are the stress related things. We have to try and keep away from them. All right, don't absorb everything, you know just sometimes you just have to, we say, laugh off some of the things, or just do something else that makes you happy and that makes you feel comfortable, so that you eliminate that stress. um, Deficiencies of essential fatty acids, together with um, cyclic hormone patterns, produce the classic symptoms of fragile emotions, irritability, etc. All right, so if you are deficient in any of the essential fatty acids, now these produce um, the symptoms of being fragile, and you're emotional, or so you're either you cry a lot, or miserable or irritable, and so on. So and you have serious mood swings. All right, some persons don't want to be around you during that time. Take vitamin A as beta carotene during the last 14 days of the cycle. You can have carrot juice or orange juice, and your yellow vegetables. So you make sure you have your orange and yellow vegetables, and make sure you have your carrot juice, because all of these things will contribute to the you'll get the vitamins and the minerals and the fatty acids and folic acids that you need, vitamins B and B6 and B12. So all of those you can get. So remember, not only when you are approaching this time of the month, but during the time you get these things in, all right, so your diet is very, very important. Iron is also vital because of the loss of blood each month, and vitamin C helps the body to absorb the iron. So when you eat your kalaloo, for example, make sure you have maybe some freshly squeezed orange juice, or you can eat some tomatoes, or you can have the juice or eat the fruits um, after, so that your body can absorb the iron. When I was younger, much, much younger, I used to be told that I am anemic. And I love kalaloo, so I eat a lot of kalaloo. And sometimes I eat so much that I get a headache. And I'm wondering, but I'm eating the leafy greens. So you know, why am I still getting the result that I'm anemic? And why am I getting these headaches? Then I discovered that my body wasn't using up the iron, wasn't absorbing the iron, I should say. So I was told to make sure that I take something with vitamin C after I've eaten the kalaloo, because I used to eat it a lot, right? So it works. I find that it works. So my body now it helps my body to absorb the iron, and and I feel better. One of the things I want you to be aware of, though, beware of supplemental iron tablets, especially during pregnancy. All right, so you can get iron from rich source of iron is the blackstrap molasses. You can get, and that is the best single source. So you can drink a tablespoon of um, the blackstrap molasses, whether close to or during your menstrual cycle, or even afterwards, because you get the iron from that, and that's a single source. You don't have to add that with anything. You don't have to use that with anything. And good evening, Angela. Nice to see you on. Thank you for joining. I hope you have been having a good day. All right, so apricots and raisins also are good sources of iron. All right. Iodine is also needed when there is a blood loss. So you can eat kelp or dulse for this to get the iodine. And iodine. You can also, if you have the iodine, you don't eat it or drink it. What you can do is just rub it on maybe the back of your hand. Just rub some on it, and your body will absorb the iodine from there. All right. So remember, it can be poisonous, it can be dangerous, so don't drink it like that. Just put it in, or you eat the foods that give you iodine, and kelp or dulse is a good source. Cramping may be relieved by additional intake of calcium and niacin. Now, calcium supplementation is important for avoiding painful cramps, and you can also get calcium from the foods that you eat. Manganese is needed for normal reproduction and mammary glands, and it also helps to prevent osteoporosis, the bone loss, and so on. All right, bone mass loss, I should say. Limiting salt and fluid intake for a short time before menstrual onset may also help to reduce edema in the legs and elsewhere in the body. A low salt diet helps relieve bloating and water retention. Food allergies can be involved in painful menstruation as well. In one study, 8 persons were freed of the problem when all foods they were allergic to were eliminated. So, food allergies can also play a part because if you have food allergies, you will tend to get diarrhea, you will tend to be vomiting, and so on. Some persons even get a fever, and so on. So these things put stress on your body, and you don't want to add stress to stress. All right, so that's not good for you. So if you know you're allergic to certain foods, don't eat them even close to or during this time, because this will also cause you to have very painful menstruation. Now, allergenic foods most frequently are milk and wheat. Some persons are allergic to wheat, eggs, beef, chocolate. Some persons are allergic to nuts and fish and beans, cauliflower, pepper, and cabbage. Now, of this list, there are a lot of healthy foods, but because you have a allergenic reaction to these foods, it is advised that you do not eat these foods, especially during that time or close to. All right. Extreme diets. Um, some persons go on low protein diets or repeated strict weight loss regimes, and these can also be harmful. They can produce amenorrhea, and that is what you don't want. Amenorrhea, all right, you don't want. Amenorrhea is absence or suppression of your menstruation, and you don't want to suppress your menstruation, or you know don't have it when you're supposed to be having it. It is now 4:31 p.m. You are tuned into the Nature's Way program, and we are traveling along. All right. So, um, remember, you don't want to eat the things that you are allergic to, because these things or go on these strict diets and all of that. These things cause stress on your body. All right. Eat a healthy meal. You don't have to starve yourself, right? If you eat the things that are, they eliminate the sugary things and the fatty things and the things that you are allergic to and that give you health issues, then you will lose weight quicker than you even can imagine. All right. So try that instead of going on a it's like a fruitarianism, or you are going on a low protein diet and all of that. You will get the balance of everything when your diet is balanced. So you will get enough protein, you will get enough calcium, you'll get enough everything when you go on a plant-based diet. And these eggs and milks and chocolate and fish and all these things, these meat the things, only clog up your system and cause problems. And if it doesn't happen right away, it may happen later. All right. B complex vitamins. Now, these nutrients help to reduce water retention, and they combat fatigue and prevent nervous and mental disorders. In fact, vitamin B injections have been used to reduce hot flashes and treat mood disorders, but you can take your vitamin B complex, and this will work as well. All right, so take a good daily B complex. You can use a supplement, or you can use the foods that are high in the B complex, that provides at least 25 to 50 milligrams of vitamin B6 to 50 to 100 mcg of vitamin B12 and 400 to 1000 mcg of folic acid. All right. Selenium. Now, this mineral helps to maintain normal hormone function, and some research suggests that it may also brighten up your mood and help to fend off heart disease as well. And, you can further do this research, because sometimes when you take these vitamins and minerals, they will help us with the way we, our mood in general. They'll help us with our mood. It makes you happier, it makes you healthy, so it then makes you happier. All right. um so you need to make sure that you know take care of yourself and pay attention to the things that, when you eat certain things, the reaction, how your body react to it. And then especially close to that time, you don't eat these things, so that you won't put any added stress on your body. Evening primrose oil. Now, this oil contributes to estrogen production and works as a sedative and also a diuretic. It also helped some women control hot flashes as well. So you can use that for hot flashes as well. Using flaxseed oil with evening primrose oil can also help you maintain a healthy cardiovascular system. All right. So, and remember, as I said last week, the flaxseed oil is also good. Don't use those oils um, that you those vegetable oils and those other oils. So use these so that they can help you to become and stay healthy. All right. So some clinical studies, some other help that you can. It's oh, thank you, Angela. Yes, it is healing nicely. Thank you so much. My leg is healing nicely. Yes. Right. So clinical studies have found that women who usually engage in regular physical activity, doesn't have to be vigorous activity, they are half as likely to experience menopausal hot flashes as women who don't. All right. Exercise is also one of the most important weapons against increased risk of osteoporosis and heart disease that women are exposed to after menopause. And working up a sweat marshals endorphins endorphins, now the body's own mood menders and painkillers. So you will be in a better mood, you will feel better, and you'll be in a better mood, a healthier, you'll feel healthier as well. Now, most experts recommend an aerobic or weight bearing workout 3 to 5 times per week for about 35 to 45 minutes a day. And there are lots of exercise options out there, but brisk walking is the best. And why is brisk walking the best? It takes in all your muscles. You have a full workout. All right. But if it is not weight bearing, it does not strengthen your bones. So you can use swimming, because swimming, while it does burn calories and boost your aerobic capacity, it is not as helpful. But walking is good. So whether your exercise is social or solo, if you have friends or company, start slowly and check with your doctor or other health practitioner before taking up a new routine. If you are not used to exercising and you about to start, you need to check up on your system and make sure you're all right, okay? Because you don't want to be walking long distances, doing brisk walking, and you have any cardiovascular issues. So you want to ensure that you are healthy so that you can know how vigorous your exercise can be. All right. So, and remember, even if you are healthy, start slowly because you have to get your body and your system used to the exercise. Walk slowly, even if you're walking with somebody or others and they are going fast. Look here, you know that you just start, don't try to prove anything. All right. The point is you want to become healthy and stay healthy. So just take your time and do your thing. All right. Or in other words, people would say, do you. Okay. Let them go ahead and do the laps as quickly as they can. You do it as quickly as you can. All right. Or as slowly as you can. Okay. So, you can walk, you can do it twice a week until you are able to do it 3 times or even every day. All right. So one of the things is one of the things that persons what we discover is that taking the birth control pill greatly upsets the entire hormonal system and it does not recover even after the pill is stopped for many, many months or years. All right? Because some persons, when they start taking the birth control pills, they get sick. Some persons put on a lot of weight and you never recover. You keep that weight. And it is a problem getting it off, even when you get off the pill. All right. So, um, this is very important, and listeners, ladies, you need to take stock of this. All right. Problems with the pituitary adrenals or the thyroid may produce amenorrhea for abdominal bleeding cycles. Stress or the birth control pill can seriously affect the adrenals, which produce 20% of the total estrogen used by the body. So this can affect the production of estrogen. Poor posture causes the female organs to move out of place, and this can affect menstruation as well. Proper posture tends to reduce cramping. So do not wear high heels. This throws the pelvic organs forward and also cramp them. So remember you are in the heel, so you are the pelvic is now leaning, it's like it's going forward now, so this throws it off. All right. And the pelvic organs, and then this also cause cramps. So ladies, we have a lot to take into consideration. All right. Those who have diaphragmatic or abdominal breathing tend to have no menstrual pain. So you want to avoid belts and tight clothing about the waist and no corsets. Because these things put your organs, they cause pressure on your organs. All right. Adequate exercise is needed. Avoid constipation because this is also very important. This puts stress on your body and on the abdominal area. Avoid over fatigue just prior to the period. Maintain a regular daily schedule without throughout the month. An excess of stress can also affect menstrual flow and attendant problems. Sexual stimulation at that time of the month increases abdominal congestion. Not keeping the legs and feet properly clothed can cause uterine problems due to pooled blood in the trunk organs. So, for example, um, in you get swelling in some areas. All right, so it's your ankle and so on, and this is inflammation. So you want to make sure that your feet are properly covered. A lot of persons, they prefer to go with slippers and all of that, but make sure that your feet are warm, they are kept warm, and that you don't cause any stress, undue stress on your body. All right, sometimes we have to let the fashion go. It's health over fashion and not fashion over health. All right. So you make sure that you keep your feet properly clothed. If you are overweight, lose weight in order to reduce painful periods. All right. Use you can get some sunlight, which is another one of the health laws. We looked at exercise earlier. Drink a lot of water. Make sure you have a lot of water. Some studies suggest that sunlight may help regulate the menstrual cycle. Plus, sunlight produces vitamin D in the body, and you need that. Stay away from fried food like and potato chips, corn chips, crackers, baked goods, and anything that contains hydrogenated oils, including margarine, because these may increase menstrual discomfort. All right, so check your eating and exercise habits. Now, if excessive exercise, low low body fat, or malfunction is the likely cause of missed periods, increase your caloric intake and decrease the exercise. All right. Reduce your sugar intake. To satisfy your sweet tooth, turn to fresh whole fruit that is in season. Um, you can use carob, you can use nuts and dried fruit instead. Eat several small meals per day. This strategy supports the immune system and reduces food cravings and emotional swings. Avoid caffeine. Reduce your intake of coffee or and chocolate, or stop using them, and some teas before and during menstruation. Adjust your nutrition. So before your period, increase whole grains in your diet, and this will help to stabilize moodiness. Then, once your period starts, eat fewer whole grains. When it ends, consume more protein. So try ginger tea, because ginger tea can help to relieve nausea and abdominal discomfort. All right, get regular aerobic exercise. Exercise releases endorphins and the body's natural pain reliever, and it will also help you with your moods. All right, you can also do hydrotherapy if you are suffering from menstrual discomfort, any of these menstrual discomforts. So you can take a daily hot zits bath. If available, you can add chamomile or juniper to the water, juniper needles to the water. You can do this, and your hot baths each day at the beginning of menstruation. This draws blood from the over congested uterus to the skin. A 4-minute back massage to an inch to the right of the lumbar, which is the small of the back, that small area there, and to the lumbar spine may bring relief from painful menstruation. So you can do a 4-minute or so massage as well. And some of the herbs that you can use to assist, you can drink catnip tea. You can drink this each morning and each evening during your period. Helpful herbs include yarrow. Yes, yarrow is good. Blue cohosh. Um, you can do this, have these in menstrual difficulties as well. Wormwood, pennyroyal. When there is painful menstruation, these will help. Chamomile. Chamomile relieves menstrual spasms. And peppermint tea also eases the pain, and it's also a very calming tea. All right. Dessert tea is for delayed or difficult menstruation. Life root, when there is suppressed menstruation, you can take this. Black cohosh, when there is obstructed menstruation. Garlic and motherwort. This will help to promote menstrual flow. Amaranth and lady's mantle. Now, you can take this when there is excessive menstruation. Blazing star for low ovarian function and lack of estrogen. Red raspberry leaf, you can have this tea, 1 cup, and this helps the entire reproductive system, and that's red raspberry tea. Massage chamomile into lower abdomen and or place in bath or in a vaporizer. You can take Vitex or Vitex, 1/2 teaspoon of tincture or 2 capsules 3 times daily, especially during the last 2 weeks of your cycle after ovulation occurs. This helps to stimulate progesterone production and normalize the estrogen progesterone balance. Okay? Now, this is the herbal formula recommended by great Dr. Christopher for female disorders. You're going to mix 4 parts of squaw vine with 1 part each of cramp bark, blue cohosh root, and false unicorn root or helenias. Add 1 teaspoon per cup of water, simmer slowly for 5 minutes, and drink 1 cup 3 times a day. All right. So these are some of the recommendations that Dr. Christopher has shared with us. All heaven, my word of encouragement to you is all heaven is interested in the work going on in this world to prepare people to live forever in heaven. It is important that we cooperate with God by accepting Christ as our Savior and by faith in Him, obeying His 10 Commandments. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 8 and 10. So, it is important that we cooperate with God by accepting Christ as our Savior and having faith in Him. Okay? It is very important. Where do we go from here? We need to ensure that our calling and election is sure. And my producer Nibert is sharing something with us. It's dog blood is also important to take as well. Yes, very important. Very important. So a lot of persons when we were growing up, we used to get dog blood during that time. Yes, and it works. It helps. All right. Now I'm going to be looking at irregular menstruation. And this is menometrial regard. Re, re, all right, let me go again. Menometrialgia. All right. So the symptoms for irregular menstruation is a menstrual cycle that has wide variations in the length of time between the periods. So it is irregular, and the times in between periods vary. Some are long, sometimes more longer than usual. Although the average menstrual cycle lasts 28 days, they may occur as often as every 24 days or as infrequently as every 34 days. After puberty, most women develop a regular cycle, but for some, they remain irregular. Menstrual bleeding normally lasts 2 to 4 days, while the average length being 5 days. Wide variations are common at puberty. The first few months after childbirth and as menopause approaches. So you will have irregular periods or irregular menstruation during that time after childbirth and as menopause approaches. And a lot of persons can identify with this, persons who are menopausal, the variation and the irregularity of your menstruation. Variations are usually the result of a temporary hormonal imbalance, stress, depression, severe or chronic illness, excessive exercise, and extreme weight loss. Other possible causes include disorders of the ovaries and or the uterus, especially polycystic ovary syndrome or POS, in which there is an imbalance of the sex hormones. Or it might be endometriosis as well, in which fragments of the tissue that normally lines the organs, um, sorry, yes, fragments of the tissue that normally lines the organs, lines the uterus, are displaced and attached to other pelvic organs. Another cause is an unsuspected pregnancy. That too can be it. So the first thing you do when you go to the doctor is they do a pregnancy test. A single late heavy period may be due to a miscarriage as well. So the doctor will do his examination or her examination. And for this as well, we have some natural remedies for irregular menstruation. Now, some of the natural remedies include, and as I said earlier, we need to get in our beets. So you can eat raw beets, you can do beet juice, or use the beet powder. Now, this is very helpful in regulating all menstrual problems. Diets that cause extreme weight loss can disrupt periods, as can hyperglycemia, nutritional anemia, iodine deficiency, and hypothyroidism as well. All right. So these are some of the things that can cause irregular menstruation. So, as I said before, remember that some of these diets, some persons go on some crash diets and they want low protein diets and this diet, and they want to lose weight in how many days and all of that. These things are disruptive to your regular functioning of your body. So you need to be careful. All right? Please be careful. And evening primrose can also be used again. Mugwort can also be used. You can also do your hot and cold zit baths as well. And make sure that you get in some exercise. All right? And drink a lot of water, a lot of clean water. All right? Godliness is an entire surrender to the will of God. It is living by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. It is doing the will of our Heavenly Father. It is trusting God in trial, in darkness as well as in light. It is walking by faith and not by sight. It is relying on God with unquestioning confidence and resting in His love. So that is godliness. It is an entire surrender of our will to God's will. Now we're going to be looking at another condition. So we looked at irregular menstruation and we looked at menstrual disorders, and we're going to be looking at lack of menstruation now, which is amenorrhea. Now, absence of menstrual periods for at least 3 months in women who would otherwise be menstruating regularly. Now, this is when you see the symptoms, you know this is amenorrhea, or for the broader term, lack of menstruation. So, when women, and you're not pregnant, but you see that your menstrual periods are not there for at least 3 months, then you know that something is definitely wrong and you have to go and check yourself out. It is 5 p.m. You are tuned in to the Nature's Way program here on Waves 96.3 FM. I am Debbie, and if you are just joining, welcome. We have been looking at reproductive in women. Last week we looked at reproductive in men, and we started with women again, but we are looking at it this afternoon, this evening again, and we are looking at some, symptoms that some conditions that women can identify with, but you didn't really know the medical term for it. So that is what we are looking at and enlightening you this evening about. All right, so we have just about an hour to go on this program. So there are two types of amenorrhea. The primary kind refers to menstruation that has not started by the age of 16. Now, if the condition later stops at any time longer than 3 months, it is secondary. A late menstrual period that is accompanied by severe abdominal pain should receive immediate medical attention because it may be due to an ectopic pregnancy, a pregnancy that develops outside the uterus, usually in one of the fallopian tubes. A single heavy period that is late may be due to a miscarriage. So you want to check this out so that you know which is which. All right. So lack of menstruation, and that's about it. So sometimes it's late, and sometimes you may not start menstruating up until the age of 16 years old. You know that something is wrong, so you need to make sure that you check this out. All right, so amenorrhea is lack of menstruation or delayed menstruation. So you need to check it out to see what is happening in your system. All right. And some of the natural remedies include there is a tincture called Blazing Star. You can take that 3 times daily for low ovarian function. And there is something that is also called pulsatilia, and you can get these at your health food stores. All right, you can also use fennel seeds. You can simmer the bruised fennel seeds for 5 minutes in boiling water. You cool it and strain it, and you drink it frequently. All right, so right through the day. You have life root as well, 10 to 30 drops tincture 2 to 4 times daily. This increases local circulation and is a uterine tonic. All right, so you can use these as well. All right, so if you treat with any of these, make sure that you contact your physician. Let your physician know what is happening. And you can get your diagnosis and you can use the natural remedies to help to treat with the situation. All right, because you don't want to take these drugs and then you get these myriads of side effects, which will further put stress on your body and compound the problem. All right. And I can tell you that the natural remedies, they do work for whatever situation you have. You just need to find out what is happening and you can do your research, do the natural remedies. And listeners, viewers, your diet is very important. And I can't stress this enough. We get sick most of the time because of the diet, the things we eat, the things we put in our bodies, in and on our bodies. We need to take better care of ourselves, take better care of the body that belongs to God. He bought us with a price. And he was the one who made us. And he gave us the instruction in Genesis 1:29 what we are to put in this wonderful machinery that he has made. And we need to adhere to that. All right. So that we can stop getting sick. All right. Now is not the time to go to the hospitals. Right? You need to take care of yourself so that you don't need to end up in the hospitals. All right, so we look at lack of menstruation. Now we're going to look at scanty menstruation. Now, the symptoms is an extremely insufficient menstrual flow, which is inadequate to produce thorough cleansing. And I'm going to say that again, an extremely insufficient menstrual flow, which is inadequate to produce thorough cleansing. All right, and remember, your menstrual, it's a cleansing, and if it is not flowing fluently, you know, it's not promoting a thorough cleansing. So this is a problem. So this problem may be caused by stress again. You may be depressed. You may be suffering from hormone imbalance, a chronic or severe illness. So you need to do that. You may be overdoing it in exercise. And remember, even though the things are good for you, you have to do them in moderation. It may be too much exercise. Your exercise may be too frequent or too long. The period of time is too long, or it may be too strenuous or intense. So you have to cut back a little bit. You understand? So this is why it is important that you diet. Your diet is important, because when you push yourself, say for example, you have some persons who they want to meet a certain time. For example, you have persons who want to be at a certain weight for the summer and all of that, and they push themselves, go to the gym and keep pushing themselves, overexerting the muscles, and every organ in your body is affected. And you do too much exercise. It's like you're killing yourself. All right. So the thing that is good for you, you're using it to kill yourself. So don't overdo it. All right. It may be too extreme and you may be losing weight too rapidly. Well, you have to give your body time. You have to give it time. All right. Let your body do its work, because it can do a wonderful work for you if you treat it right. Right. So other possible causes may include disorders of the ovaries or the uterus. And Blazing Star is also a good natural remedy that you can use for this as well. And make sure, now what you can do to increase flow, you can use a hot water bottle over uterus during the period. So this will promote flow. All right. This will increase the flow. How thankful we can be that God, who loved us so much that he gave his son, is ever ready to help us. Listeners, viewers, in any situation, any of these and the others I've mentioned before, and any situation you find yourself in, remember you can always call on Dr. God. He is not just our doctor, he's our healer, he's our friend, our redeemer, our savior. He died for us so that we may live, and you can call on him in every situation, and he is there to answer. He has given us this information to share with you so that you can be healthy. So let us call on him, and let us have that faith and confidence in him that he is able to do what we cannot do for ourselves. All right, so we're going to look at another condition, and this is profuse menstruation, or menorrhagia or hagia. Now, menstrual periods, these are menstrual periods that are heavier than normal. There may be a dragging pain in the lower abdomen. Menstruation may also be irregular in this condition. Some women have heavier flows than others. However, if the bleeding lasts longer than 7 days and it cannot be controlled by napkins or tampons, or includes large clots, it is classed as menorrhagia. Now, general debility is a primary cause. The condition occurs more frequently in women with kidney or liver disease. So you see there's an underlying problem, or what we call comorbidity. All right. Marital excess is another cause. About 1 in 20 women have menorrhagia regularly. It is more common when approaching menopause. So this is also important. This condition may be caused by uterine polyps or fibroids or cancer of the uterus. So these are three causes. This can be caused by either of these three conditions, and therefore you would need to do your process of elimination. So you would need to consult with your physician, see what is happening, and then you will know where to go from there. It is also known as a side effect of using an intrauterine contraceptive device, or those that we call IUD. So you don't need to use these things. These things give you side effects and they are harmful to our health. A single heavy period that is late may be due to a miscarriage as well, or ectopic pregnancy as well. The cause also may be a hormonal disorder such as hypothyroidism. The condition is more common in overweight women. So if your periods have always been heavy, there may be no cause for concern. But once you see that, you know, this is not the norm, you need to check it out. All right? There may be an underlying problem. So you need to ensure that you find out what that is, because if not checked, provoked menstruation can lead to difficult urination, uterine prolapse, or leukorrhea, and it can also produce iron deficiency anemia, which is anemia causing lightheadedness and fatigue as well. Okay? And of course, the natural remedies include diets. Make sure you eat plenty of leafy greens plus your trace minerals, and make sure you get in your kelp, which will help to maintain your metabolism. All right, so my producer is sharing some information with us, and it says blue vervain mixed with dog blood herbs are good to cleanse and unlock the fallopian tube and promote proper blood flow in periods. Yes. Thank you, sir. So blue vervain and dog blood can also be used. So add these two herbs to the list that I shared with you. All right. Also, you can make sure you eat omega-3 rich foods, and the best is flaxseed oil. And you can use 2 tablespoons on a daily basis. Make sure you get in your omega-3, and I'm talking about your natural omega-3 now, not your second-hand omega-3. All right, not the plant-based omega-3. Eat garlic or natural sulfur. Now, heavy blood loss can lead to iron anemia. Iron deficiency can both result from and induce menorrhagia. So you can take 1 to 2 teaspoons of blackstrap molasses on a daily basis, and you don't need to take extra iron during pregnancy if you are pregnant. All right, so this, make sure you do not take extra iron during pregnancy, and that is a must. It is very, very important. You may cause complications during your pregnancy and during birth. Okay? Studies reveal that taking 25,000 IU of vitamin A twice a day for 15 days showed significant improvement, even to complete normalization of blood loss. But women who are or could become pregnant must not take more than 10,000 IU, all right, or 3,000 mcg per day. Birth defects could result from taking more. So it is very important. So if you are pregnant or if you're planning to get pregnant soon, don't take more than 10,000 IU or 3,000 mcg per day, all right, of vitamin A supplements. You see, this is why it is important that we get the vitamins and nutrients from the food that we eat. Because if you take the supplements and you take more than your body needs, you can have problem. All right? And your body don't break down the supplements altogether. So there is some residue. Just like with meat, your body don't fully absorb or break down meat. So for years you are walking around with these things in your body. So this is why we get sick. And we have to take note of these things and ensure that we take care of ourselves and don't eat these things. Yes, they taste nice and you season them up and what have you. You can do the same things with the grains and stuff. And they taste nice and they are healthier and you feel healthier and you will keep a steady weight. You won't be overweight, you won't be obese, because these things, and you do your regular exercise and your regular you can go on your regular fast and so on. So you need to take care of yourselves. Vitamin E is also good to ensure that you have your daily intake, vitamin C and bioflavonoids, and these protect capillaries, or the small blood vessels, from damage. All right, so, and these are, from studies that have been done. You can add a few grains of cayenne to any herbal tea of your choice. Now, cayenne is able to powerfully regulate bleeding internally and externally, and may help the um, menstrual flow as well. All right. Cayenne is, oh, awesome. Wonderful. Drink diluted lemon juice throughout the menstrual period. It will slightly help reduce the flow. If you have low blood pressure, though, this is a caution. So, I'd prefer you use the cayenne in this case. All right. So, restrict intake or eliminate intake of animal products, and make sure you stay away from fried and saturated fatty foods, sugars, and high cholesterol foods. Avoid caffeine foods, tobacco, and liquor altogether. All right, these things only add stress, as I said, to your bodies. Now, um, you can use some herbs. There are some herbs that you can use, and you can also use the red raspberry leaves, again, to control an excessive flow. You can drink half of a cup of strong thyme tea every morning and evening to control excessive flow. Also, apply a compress of tea to the pelvic area. You can take amaranth 2 to 4 times daily, and shepherd's purse is good at stopping hemorrhaging anywhere in the body. So you can drink 2 cups 3 times daily. Also, apply a compress soaked in the tea to the pelvic area during excessive flow, and this will help to regulate the flow. 2 or more astringent teas are good. Agrimony and crane's bill. You can take 3 cups 3 times day on a daily basis. All right, so you can also, mistletoe is also good. You can use an infusion or cold extract of dry leaves, and hazelnut as well, and also nettle infusion in fresh juice of the leaves. All right, and you can use this. Horsetail, blind nettle can also be used. Calendula is all that decorative flowers that can also be used. Knotweed, witch hazel, smartweed, and golden seal. Now, a infusion of fresh smart reduces too abundant menstruation. An infusion of golden seal contracts the uterus and reduces bleeding. And remember, a word of caution for golden seal: you don't use golden seal for more than a week at a time. All right. Um, and if you are allergic to ragweed, do not use golden seal. Good evening, Justifaris. Glad to have you on. Glad to see you. I hope all is well. Give our hellos, and um, please stay tuned. All right. So, shepherd's purse, as I said. So you can also use a tincture for two. Blend. Let me go again. Blend this tincture for 2 heavy periods and keep it on hand for times when your menstrual flow is uncomfortably heavy. And the tincture is 1 teaspoon shepherd's purse, 1 teaspoon yarrow tincture, half teaspoon red raspberry leaf tincture, and half teaspoon Vitex tincture. So you're going to combine all of the ingredients in a dark glass jar with a tight seal. Take 3 drops. So you're going to use these herbs, the shepherd's purse, yarrow, red raspberry, and Vitex. All these tinctures, you're going to mix them together. Combine all these and put them in a dark glass jar with a tight seal, and give it some time to infuse. And you're going to take 3 dropperfuls every 15 to 30 minutes for very heavy bleeding, or 2 dropperfuls every hour for moderately heavy bleeding. All right, so you are given some good remedies here, some good herbs that you can use. All right, B complex. Make sure you get in your your B12 and your folic acid as well. Selenium. Now, this mineral helps to maintain normal hormone function. Some research suggests that it may also brighten your moods and help fend off heart disease as well. Acidophilus. Now, these beneficial bacteria work to prevent vaginitis, yeast infections, and cystitis. These are problems that can crop up more frequently after menopause. All right, so these are in capsule forms, and you can get these at your health store. Evening primrose oil. This is also a very good one. This oil contributes to estrogen production and works as a sedative and a diuretic. It has also helped some women control hot flashes as well. All right, make sure you have your legs and feet properly clothed, get extra sleep, avoid all drugs, including aspirin. All right, because what they do, they inhibit the vitamin K formation, and then you are going to develop a vitamin K deficiency. All right, and yes, thank you. Shepherd's purse is grown in Jamaica. All right, it grows as a wild herb, so it is available in Jamaica. Thank you for that, producer. Right, so avoid all drugs, because these prohibits the vitamin K formation, and you don't want to get a vitamin K deficiency, because then you are going to have you are not going to be able to treat well with the provost menstruation, whether heavy or moderately heavy bleeding. Okay. Many inhibit, yes, they do inhibit the vitamin K. Many of these drugs out there, so you don't want to use them. So for excessive bleeding or pain, you can apply an ice pack to the uterus, all right, or to the pubic or sacral region. Hot compresses applied to the legs and feet will enhance the action of removing blood from the pelvic region. So there will be flow, so then the pain will subside or lessen. After the period is over, take a warm douche of white oak bark, wild alum root, or bayberry bark. So you're going to steep 1 heaping of teaspoon to a quart of boiling water. Let it steep while it is covered. Inject 4 to 5 days times a day with a bulb syringe. In addition, drink the herb teas as well. So if periods are extremely provoked, make small balls of absorbent cotton, immerse in a tea of equal parts of white oak bark and wild almond root, plus a little lobelia. You're going to tie a strong cord around the middle along in which is long enough to extend to the outside. Press it against the vaginal area. Every 12 hours, remove the ball and wash with an herb douche. All right? And this will also help. This will also help. He who has given his precious life because he loved us and wanted us to be happy will always be mindful of our problems. He can provide us with encouragement and help as no one else can, and that is Jesus. All right, so we're going to be looking at menstrual cramps now. So we looked at provoked menstruation. We looked, just to recap, we looked at lack of menstruation, scanty menstruation, irregular menstruation, and we looked at menstrual disorders. Now, all of these are under the wide topic menstrual disorders. Now we're going to be looking at menstrual cramps. It is now 5:30 p.m. and we are moving right along. So for menstrual cramps, strong cramping sensation during menstruation. A cramping lower abdominal pain that comes in waves, radiating the lower back and down the legs, dragging pain in the pelvis. And oh boy, you can identify with this. So, this is a severe form of dysmenorrhea. And this is a severe form of dysmenorrhea. Yes, these pains, wow, they are so bad that sometimes you get in a very bad mood. So, the natural remedy that is recommended, of course, we have to look at our diet. All right? Our diet is very, very important. So, the diet should be light and simple. Primarily of you need to eat fresh fruits and vegetables, but do not overeat. Because if you overeat, you're going to cause congestion in your abdominal area, and you don't want to do that. All right? Make sure you have your omega-3 fatty acids, and you're going to take your 2 to 4 teaspoons of flaxseed oil on a daily basis. And this keep prostaglandins trapped in cells so they cannot enter the muscle tissue and trigger the spasms. So these spasms, they are like these waves of pain that you feel. All right. So you are going to avoid arachidonic. So that's arachidonic acid, and this is a type of fatty acid. And this fatty acid is found in meat, dairy products, and palm kernel oil. And this is a common ingredient in processed foods. So you are going to avoid these completely. All right. And these are, you need to also reduce your salt intake and make sure if you have food allergies, do not eat those foods that give you allergenic reactions, right? Because these can prove or give you more discomfort. So, niacin helps relieve cramps. So, you can take niacin days before, about 7 to 10 days before your menstruation begins. All right. Vitamin B6. This helps to convert fatty acids to a form which helps produce pain relieving chemicals. Vitamin C. Vitamin C helps strengthens the uterine intake of nutrients and discharge of toxins. So you are going to make sure you have this on hand, especially when symptoms are present. Okay. Magnesium, vitamin E are very important, and you can take these together. Studies show that taking these vitamins, they help to reduce menopausal symptoms as well. Calcium is a great wonder worker when it comes to relaxing muscles and reducing pain. So make sure you have your daily intake of calcium. And you can use hydrotherapy. You know, water is very healing and soothing. You can use hydrotherapy. You can use your ice pack. You can use that over your abdomen, or you can also use a heating pad or hot water bottle to reduce abdomen, to the abdomen, or to your back. You can use the hot water bottle in those areas. Now, with the first sign of pain, you can place a heating pad to the back from the waist to the end of the spine, and you are going to keep the heat on high for the first sign of pain. You can also take a warm bath, or you can take a hot blitz or a sitting bath, right? And you can also you can do this with a hot foot bath as well for about 3 to 10 minutes, and this will relieve the pain. Take a cold zits bath as well, 2 to 10 minutes, while constantly rubbing the skin, and this will promote blood flow and then reduce the pain. All right. So there are some herbs that you can also use to assist with menstrual cramps. Right. So they include squaw vine tea, and this is good. This is also used for menstrual pain. They also used to make childbirth easier and to treat sore nipples while nursing. All right, you can use it with red raspberry tea for better effects. Okay. Okay. There's a question here. Let me read the comment first from my producer. Niacin can be found in its cheney root, donkey weed, and medina, and shema maca as well. Niacin can be found in those, so you can take it. You can get your niacin intake. Now, what is the cause of fibroid? Is there herbal remedies to treat this condition? Yes, there is. And fibroids is one of the major causes, is the overproduction of estrogen in the body. All right. So yes, thank you, producer. And there are herbal remedies, and because we're not doing that right now, I won't give you the herbal remedies for that. But later on in the reproductive in women, we will look at that, and I'll give you those herbs for that condition. All right, Angela. So we will make a note of that, and we will get that information, because later on we will be looking at that. But that is not what we're looking on today. Okay? All right. So for the menstrual cramps, yes, as I said, you can use strawberry leaf tea, and this relieves menstrual cramping. You can also use yarrow tea. This also helps. Chinese angelica, also known as dang quai or dang kai, right? So this is widely used. And this mostly in the Chinese herbal medicine. All right. It is considered a female tonic and is especially used for menstrual cramping. Red raspberry leaf tea is used by many women to reduce period cramping. It is also used to soothe uterine irritability during pregnancy. All right. So bilberry. Bilberry contains anthocyanidins, which relax the muscles. Ginger can also be used. Ginger contains 6 pain relieving compounds and 6 anti cramping compounds. Red clover has phytoestrogens and which produce cramping which reduce cramping by balancing hormones a lot better. All right, so chasteberry, these are some fruits that are also good for reducing menstrual cramping. So make sure you take in your fruits and your vegetables. A combination of ginger, valerian, black haw, and motherwort is very helpful for relieving menstrual cramps. Black haw specifically relaxes the uterus. Motherwort alone can stop menstrual cramps as well. So you're going to take you can get this in your health food store. You can take 5 drops of motherwort extract, keep increasing it until the cramps stop. Then take that amount each time that the cramps begin. Okay? So you can continue taking your regular outdoor exercise. These are some other helps that you can do. It has been proven that those who exercise have less pain than those who do not. The best exercises are those which involves the pelvic and legs, like waist bending and leg exercises. Walk up about, if you are close to stairs, you can walk up the steps and back down every day, and this will help. So you're going to do this as a deliberate act now. You're not just go up the stairs once and then you come down once. You have to do this back and forth for a little time. But do not over exercise, because this will cause further problems and complication. If you are overweight, you need to reduce the weight. Now, this will significantly lessen painful periods. Maintain regularly in times for rising, sleeping, eating, and exercise. So make sure you go to bed at a certain time, you get up at a certain time, and you eat at a certain time, and you exercise at a certain time. So this, put some regularity and make your body has a routine. So this will keep you healthy. Improve your posture and the pain will lessen. So women who do diaphragmatic or abdominal breathing experience less problems. So, diaphragmatic breathing is good. So, you do your breathing exercises, all right? Not just when you're about to have a baby. You do it on a regular basis so that you can, keep your muscles strong. So, take a brief rest period at times with your feet elevated. This will bring healing blood to the abdominal area. Okay, so you need to do that as well. You know, we sit, some of us sit all day at our desks, and instead of moving about, you know, we just sit there, and we maybe take a taxi or we drive to work. And when you get to work, you sit there, you don't really walk up and down, you don't really do anything, you're not active. So, inactive, if you are inactive, this can also be a factor. It is important that you get in some amount of exercise. You don't have to do any vigorous exercise, all right, for over a long period of time. Every day you may have 30 to 35 to 45 minutes exercise, and just to get your blood pumping and everything going, and make sure that getting those exercise and those muscles, make sure your muscles are working. All right, so it is helpful. Your posture is also important, so you want to do these things so that you can be healthy. My word of encouragement to you again is, come daily to Jesus, who loves you. Open your heart to him freely. In him there is no disappointment. You will never find a better counselor, a safer guide, a more sure defense. Jesus is our refuge and strength, a very present help in time of trouble. Speak to him daily, read his words daily, and you will find that you will better be better able to make up your defense. All right, open your heart to him freely. He is our redeemer and friend, and he will take care of us. It is now 5:45 p.m. You are tuned in to Nature's Way here on Waves 96.3 FM, and we just have about 15 minutes left on this program. So I'm going to go right ahead. We're going to be looking at painful menstruation at this time. And some of the symptoms include lower abdominal pain and discomfort experienced just before or during menstruation. The pain may be accompanied by any of the symptoms of premenstrual syndrome. Now, these symptoms can be headache, breast tenderness, and abdominal bloating. Up to three-fourths of women have menstrual period pain. In about one-fifth of these women, the pain is severe enough to disrupt normal activities. The pain is usually experienced within the 24 hours before menstruation or the first few days of menstruation. Primary dysmenorrhea occurs in the early teens, 1 to 2 years after periods begin. Ovulation generally begins. An increase of prostaglandins occurs some days after ovulation and makes the uterine muscles contract. This contraction interferes with blood supply and causes pain. This type of pain lessens after about age 25 and generally disappears by about age 30. It becomes less severe after childbirth. The secondary type occurs in women who previously had little menstrual pain. Affecting women aged 20 to 40, it is often caused by endometriosis or uterine fibroids, or a chronic infection of the reproductive organs, or the use of an intra, um, intrauterine contraceptive device or IUD. And these are some other causes. All right. So, and of course, we have some natural remedies that you can use to treat with painful menstruation or dysmenorrhea. Drink catnip tea each morning and each evening during the period. You're going to place 1 teaspoon of the powder in a cup of boiling water and you're going to let it steep, cool, and drink. You can also use your strawberry leaf tea, taken over a number of months, will eventually help regulate the flow. Chamomile tea. Chamomile tea is it's a calming tea and it gently relieves painful spasms. Peppermint tea also aids in digestion and reduces bloat and pain. All right, so those herbs they relax the spasm of the uterine muscles, thus alleviating dysmenorrhea and many female pelvic pains caused by uterine spasms. These herbs also exert antispasmodic action through not as specific on other well they are not as specific on other hollow organs such as the intestines and the urinary pathways. All right, so those are very helpful as well, and you can use those to treat with this condition. All right, so these are some of the conditions, and I'm going to be looking at maybe another one before we get out of here. Um, there are a few more that I want to share with you, and we're going to be continuing with this topic for a little while because, for women, there are so many things in our reproductive system that can we can treat with. All right, there are a lot of other conditions, and so we're going to be looking at them, and then we can move on to another topic. But these are very, very important, and I think that as women, we need to take stock. We need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. In general, we need to take care of this wonderful machinery that God has given to us. We need to put the things in it and on it that are required. Whether therefore we eat or drink or whatsoever we do, we are to do all to the glory of God. So make sure that whatever we do, we are glorifying God. Disappointments you will have. But ever bear in mind that Jesus, the living and risen Savior, is your Redeemer and your Restorer. Please all make sure you always bear that in mind. Because, you know, we in our colloquial term, we mash up ourselves, mash up our bodies, and then God restores us to health. And we are encouraged to keep our bodies healthy and put the things in our bodies that will promote health and not disease and sickness. Okay? The Lord loves us so much. He gave us the instruction in Genesis 1 and verse 29. We are to eat fruits, nuts, grains, right? That is the original diet that is given by God, man, right? And Genesis 3 and verse 18, that the herbs and vegetables were added, and these were added after sin because he sees that we are going to need to be healed. And the herbs are for the service of mankind, according to Psalm 104 and verse 14. God has given us these instructions. He made us, He gave us our manual, He gave us the instructions for us to follow. But we do our own thing. And now we have to be at the repair shop. All right. So this is why this program has been conceptualized to help us to get back to to where God wants us to be restored. He is our redeemer and our restorer, and he bought us with a price. First he made us, and then he shed his blood on Calvary's cross for us. So we owe it to him to do our best to keep our bodies in tip-top shape. All right, and stop messing up this machinery that God has given to us. Now, there is another condition that I want us to look at briefly, and it is menstrual fluid retention. So, menstrual fluid retention, and you can identify this from hands and especially feet that tend to swell during menstruation. So it means that you're retaining fluid. The causes include hormone imbalances, and the hormone imbalances cause the tissues to take up an excess of water. So this is why you have the fluid retention. All right. So there are some natural remedies for menstrual fluid retention as well. You can reduce your salt intake and sodium intake, and make sure you read your labels and avoid foods that contain sodium. There are a lot of foods out there that are high in sodium, and you need to read the labels because this will help you to retain the fluid, and you don't want that. So take no salt, especially from a week before the period starts to the onset of the period. All dairy products are high in salt. Take dandelion leaf tea if there is water retention, because this is also a diuretic. You can also take white birch tea, and this increases the volume of urine and reduces tissue swelling. All right, so you can use an infusion of the leaves and or the buds. So you can either just do the leaves, and you can do the leaves and the bud together. All right, so the remedies are: make sure you stay away from the salts and the sodium, read your labels, and avoid foods that contain sodium. You are to take no salt, especially a week before your period is to start or on the onset of the period. And bear in mind that all dairy products are high in salt, and you want to stay away from this. All right, you can drink dandelion leaf tea if there is, and you can also use white birch tea. Increases the volume of urine and reduces tissue swelling. You can use an infusion of the leaves and or the buds of the white birch tea. All right, so through all your trials, you can have a never failing friend who has said, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. So God is with us, and he loves us with an everlasting love. He wants to take care of us. He has given us instructions, so we are to follow. He has given us a diet, and we need to follow this diet so that we can be healthy. I'll be back next week, and we'll be continuing with our reproductive women and reproductive system, and we're looking at women, and we are going to be starting off next week with menopause. So a lot of women have gone through or are going through this period in their lives, and we want to look at this and share some natural remedies with you, and some herbs and diet that you can use to treat with this condition. The Lord says in 3 John 2, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayst prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. He loves us with an everlasting love. Let us be obedient to him and let us do the things that he says we are to do so that we can be healthy. Let us pray. Our Father which art in heaven, thank you for your words of encouragement, your words of enlightenment, and your words of reminders that you are our God. You have made us. And Lord, it is good if when we come to you daily for help. I pray, dear Lord, that as we have had this discourse, that a lesson would have been learned and the encouragement would have been gone out and persons would have heard and turned their lives to you. I pray, dear Lord, that you will keep us healthy, help us to do the things that are right so that we can remain healthy and do your work, that when you come, we may go home with you. Bless us now and thank you for this opportunity for being co laborers with you. In Jesus' name, I pray and say thanks. Amen. It's goodbye from Nature's Way. Until next Sunday, please stay healthy and be good. And God loves you.
I am the God that healeth thee.